So I'm not sure if you've noticed, but over the past year, there's been a rise in the number of YouTube channels about Hawaii food where they go around and they show the best places to eat. You know, you click on one video and then another video and then another video, and soon you're so hungry that you're finding yourself sipping on a boba tea, snacking on some malasadas, grinding a regular plate lunch, all rice of course, and enjoying the sweetest mochi ice cream you've ever tasted. Believe it or not, I've actually tried to make some Hawaii food videos, but have failed pretty badly. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about the 3 struggles that I had in my attempts to be a Hawaii food YouTuber, because it's harder than it looks. So this whole thing kind of started when we were recently invited to check out HItalian Ice, a local place that serves Hawaii-made, New York-inspired shave ice that is infused with real natural ingredients. It's located at Aloha Tower near downtown Honolulu. It's home to Hawaii Pacific University, Star of Honolulu, and numerous other restaurants. But just a quick thing about this place. The owner, Jimmy, actually left a comment on one of my YouTube videos a while ago inviting us to come check it out. And I told him that, yeah, we would definitely check it out. But then 2020 happened, so kind of stalled that. But if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna try my best to do it. And we've tried to stop by there a couple of times, but it just never really worked out. However, the 3rd time was the charm. We had a private event all to ourselves where we could try anything that we wanted. I mean, we even got to go and make our own shave ice bowls, but more about that later. But I do want to thank him for the invitation for us to come in and try this. I mean, he knows that I'm not a Hawaii food channel, but he just wanted us to check it out because he knows that I like shave ice and acai bowls, so I really appreciate that. But like I mentioned, I think there's a lot of challenges in being a Hawaii food vlogger. The first for me is finding places that I would connect with. Hawaii is a relatively small place, and there's only so many places to eat, and once you hit up the usual places, you know, the ones that tourists all talk about, and there's so many Yelp reviews, I think I'd feel this big pressure to have to find like crazier or more interesting foods to share. But there just aren't that many places, I think, that become sustainable. I mean, maybe there are foodies out there that know all these places and they could probably just keep eating, but I just don't know about those places. And in doing food reviews, I feel like I'd have a very transactional relationship with these businesses. You know, it's like, I need a place to eat for a video. Okay, let me check online. Okay, got it. All right, let's go. Let me film, let me pay you, you make the food, everyone watch me eat and enjoy it, and that's it. One of the things that often goes overlooked in these food reviews is that personal connection, not just with the food, but with the people who prepare the food and the owners, because I think that's where the passion comes from. You know, I just want to thank everyone who was there at HItalian Ice, not just for the invitation, but for being so friendly and watching our son while we were there. You know, I mean, with the son, you know, we usually have to bring him around to a lot of things that we do, and so he was there with us as we were trying it. And as we were sampling the foods and making the shave ice bowls, the staff was so nice that they watched our son. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and it was nice because we could just enjoy our time. And that's the kind of customer service that I'm particularly drawn toward. Now, I'm not saying that you just go there and drop off your kids and they're gonna watch them for you. I mean, they're not babysitters, but the fact that they were willing to do that to help us, I mean, that's something that I appreciate, and that's hard to capture and convey in these types of food reviews. You know, it's the way they treat you, the way they talk story with you, the way they go out of their way to make sure that you're enjoying what they're providing. And that's the thing, that's the spark that I find so valuable and unique and special that I'd want to share with people through these videos. I mean, it's the difference between someone who uses a brand, who consumes a brand, and someone who believes in a brand. You know, someone who is willing to be an ambassador for a brand. You know, those are the kind of places that I would want to share in my videos. And the thing is, there aren't that many places like that, and it usually takes time to establish that connection with the food, the place of business, and the owners. So if I were to review Hawaii food, those would be the places that I'd like to talk about. And they may not be the most popular or even have the best tasting food, but with the passion and support I'd show that place, I hope that people could see how excited I was every time I ate there. The second struggle I found with being a Hawaii food vlogger is that I'm not sure how honest I could be, because it seems like all of the food reviews are pretty positive. You know, food is very personal and we all like what we like. And the good thing about that is that there are a variety of flavors and dishes out there to match all of the various tastes. But the bad thing about that is that some people are connected to the food so much that if you say you don't like it, it's almost like saying you don't like them. Like you're somehow judging their taste and judging them, because if they like it and it doesn't taste good, well, what does that say about them? And because of this personal connection to food, especially Hawaii food, it's so much more convenient to just say that everything is good. And soon everything becomes the best, which can't possibly be true, but to say otherwise would be rocking the canoe, and in Hawaii we tend not to like that. But the thing is, for me, if I were to review Hawaii food, I would want to try the good, the bad, and the average, and not be afraid to say so. If all of my videos were about praising everything I eat, I mean, it's great for viewers who just want to see someone eating good food and having a good time, but how much more interesting would it be if someone were to say that they don't like something and explain why in a very reasonable way? And that might make me actually want to try it, because I want to see if it's as bad as that person says. Now, for example, with HItalian ice, I tried the acai shave ice and strawberry shave ice bowls, and I thought that they were okay. If I were to describe the acai bowl shave ice to someone, I'd say it's like a fusion of shave ice and acai bowl with all of its traditional toppings. Now, if you grew up in Hawaii and you like your shave ice super sweet, you're probably gonna be disappointed with the shave ice at HItalian ice, because it's not super sweet. I have a local boy taste, so to me, the shave ice was less sweet than I was expecting. I mean, it wasn't watered down. The shave ice was very consistent throughout all of the ice. It just wasn't the super sweet kind, like when the syrup collects on the bottom of the cup after everything melts. So if I'm in the mood for some local shave ice, I probably would go to a more traditional place. Does that mean that it was bad? Well, no, because if you don't like super sweet shave ice that hurts your teeth and you actually care about the ingredients that are in it, HItalian ice might be for you. But let's talk about the gelato. Man, was that good. My wife and I pretty much talked about the gelato all the way home because it was surprisingly good. There was a scoop of chocolate gelato on the strawberry shave ice bowl, and I really liked the richness of the chocolate. I want to eat the entire scoop, but I didn't. I'm trying to control what I eat. My wife, while also liking the shave ice, really liked the matcha or green tea gelato. Like, really liked it. And Jimmy was saying that it's very popular with the Japanese tourists, and I'm sure of it. My wife loved it. As a Hawaii food YouTuber, I feel like I'm supposed to say that I like poke, which I don't. That I like lihimui, which I don't. That I like poi, which I don't. And traditionally in reviewing HItalian ice, I'm probably supposed to say it's the best acai bowl I've ever tasted, or it's the best shave ice I've ever tasted. But honestly, it's neither of those things, because it's not a true acai bowl. And so it can't compete with the really good acai bowl places. And it's not true shave ice, so it can't compete with really good local shave ice. It's something different. It's like this marriage between these two different things. So if you like to try that kind of thing, like something new, something fusion, then I'd say give it a try. As for the gelato, on those days when we want ice cream, we will be going to HItalian ice because it's good and it's better than any ice cream place in Kaka'ako in town. See, and it's statements like these, that the shave ice is okay and that the gelato is the best in the area, that may be too real for some people, because they prefer that everything be oishi and ono and delicious. And maybe everything is good to some people, but that's not me, and that's not how I would review the food. I think it's okay to say that something is just okay, and I think it's okay to say that something is the best of its kind in an area. When it comes to food, we all have different tastes, and I think that should be celebrated just as much as the different foods. The third struggle is the cost, and there's the money cost, and then there's the calorie cost. While there are definitely some cheap eats in Hawaii, not everywhere is cheap. And if you're making videos about eating out, the bills start to add up. I mean, you figure a plate lunch is about $12 to $15, but then there are the side dishes and the desserts and the drinks. And if you eat at a restaurant, there's also the tip, and that can add up if you're making weekly videos. And when you start making money on YouTube, some of that money can go towards the cost of the food and gas, but it's gonna take a while for you to get monetized. So you'll be making videos for a while until it can start to pay for itself. Now, if you love to eat out, that's a completely different story. Like, from a cost perspective, you might as well, since you'd be eating out anyway and spending the money. But let's talk about the calorie cost. And maybe that's just me getting old, but I also think about the cost on my health and eating out so much. And if you know Hawaii food, it's not always the healthiest. Like, We like big portions. We like a lot of rice and carbs. We have very little vegetables, and we like the extra gravy on top. So I think about the calories that I would be eating and that would be going into my body every week, every day, and it just would take so much time to work off all those calories. Now, I might be able to eat 1 plate lunch a month, maybe 2, but even to eat once a week, like a plate lunch, is way too much for me. Yep, I'm getting old. Gotta watch the sodium. Now, as I stated earlier, HItalian Ice invited us and other media people to try out what they've got. The total of what we tried, sodas and acai bowls and all that, probably would have been maybe $50, but we got to try it for free. And so does that influence the review? Absolutely it does. And I was hoping that I wouldn't, which is why we tried to go earlier to pay for the stuff, and then that way we could give a somewhat unbiased review without the complimentary food, but it just never worked out that way. Now, would I have paid $50 for all of this stuff? Probably not. But I would have spent $25 for just the 2 of us. And like I mentioned, we will be going back to support this business when the cameras are off and it's just us. There's no video. And I actually think that's a better judgment of whether a place is worth it or not. Like, would I still go if I'm not making a video? And the answer is yes. So I appreciate all that these Hawaii vloggers are doing to share local food and Hawaii with the world. And while I enjoy local food as much as the next guy, I'll leave the food reviews to these creators. They do a wonderful job. I may talk about food in general on this channel every now and then, but not every single time. Food is important in Hawaii, but it's not my passion, and I'd actually get bored after a while. So whether it's living here, moving here, what's going on, the people, the food, the culture, I like talking about that broad spectrum of things related to Hawaii because it makes it fun for me as a creator, and I hope that you see that in these videos. And again, big mahalo and thank you to Jimmy and everyone at HItalian Ice for inviting us. We really had a great time and enjoyed the treats. So please check out HItalian Ice if you're in the Honolulu area, because we will be too. Thanks for watching, and aloha.